Hello, sixth grade science teachers. How are you guys? Happy Friday weekend. I'm not sure when you're watching this because I'm pre-recording it, but I hope things are going well for you. This video was made for the October 6th PD, and I know that you guys have a lot of different sessions that you have to attend to. So that's why it's recorded. Hopefully you're getting a lot of good PD in the other sessions you're in, and I hope you had time to make room for this. Of course you did. You're watching it right now. I'm going to stop doing the intro and move into my presentation. And here we go. All right. So, and if you have a group or a team that you work with, this will be better if you can meet with them or maybe debrief after. I'm going to have some moments in the video where you can pause it for some group discussions. If you are meeting with your admin, hopefully that's the case. I've been meeting with a lot of the schools, presenting data, so they might have some stuff for you. If I've missed your school, I haven't been able to make it to all the elementary schools. Hopefully we can meet after this. But what I'm doing is I'm launching a new goal, KCPS Science 2026. Let's talk about that. All right, so the overview, what we're looking at right here, and I know there's a lot of data heavy slide, but this is our MAP and EOC scores from the 2023 school year. So last spring, and this represents our baseline. And what my goal I'm hoping to do is to increase these scores over the next 3 years. This data right here is actually pulled, at least these bottom two graphs represent data from our 8th grade test, but only looking at our 6th grade standards. I want you guys to know that you are an important part of this goal because of how much what you guys do in 6th grade sets us up for success for that 8th grade test. This might give you maybe an area of focus for your school. You notice life science didn't do as well on that 8th grade test. There's a few standards that are taught in the 6th grade that we could capitalize on. And really what we're looking to do is this below basic number, we want to bring that down to be better than what the state has. These proficient and advanced numbers, we want to lift those up. And that really starts in 6th grade. And what's really awesome about this goal that we're doing is that we are going to beat the state average by the end of the 25-26 school year. So when we're looking at the students that are going to test that year, remember this is a 3-year goal, they're our current 6th grade students. And so if we can really capitalize on building these students up in 6th grade, setting them up for success, they go on to 7th and 8th grade, we continue to focus, build in those scientific skills and practices. How do we test taking abilities, reading and writing? Then by the time they get their 8th grade year, we really focused on this group of kids. We should see the results really, really soar. And so I want you guys to know 6th grade, I'm going to be really focused now for the rest of the year. How am I supporting these schools? Where are our weaknesses? How can I help you, support you, and all that sort of stuff. So let's take a look at the game plan for how this is going to happen. And sorry, my thing is in the way, but I kind of mentioned this. So we're looking to make changes in 2 different areas. I really want to reduce those below basic numbers. You can focus just on the map over here. You're not in high school. Reducing this below basic numbers and increasing proficient and advanced. I call these the mastery. And really what we're looking at is there's a 30% difference between us and the state. So over 3 years, if we're just going to linear growth, we need to decrease our below basic by 10% every year. That's doable. And even if we don't reach that every year, because we're focusing every year on these students, then that 3rd year, we have like a compounding effect. And so instead of just 10% each year, it goes like 8, 10, and then 25%, you know? So that 3rd year, we can really move it. I don't like just focusing on one end and trying to reduce this number because then we forget all of our students over on this end. So that's why I also have the goal for how do we increase those numbers. And we have a lot of strategies for how to do that. And I've actually met with all of your schools, most of them, almost got around to everybody, looking at your specific data, giving out specific data on your students, and then we can look at how do we move them up? How do we move them from below basic to basic, basic to proficient, and so forth. So I want to get into the game plan a little bit and tell you guys kind of what I see happening. And it's going to be different for every school, but this is the parts that kind of includes everybody. So first, as you guys know, updated curriculum map. hopefully that has supported, and I've seen it in a lot of schools, it has really supported our use of our resource, Discovery Ed, looking at it as a storyline from start to end and taking in all those activities and lessons. There's really good stuff there. And what I view that for is you start there, and then a lot of you have these other labs and activities and things that you've done in the past, and those go on top of Discovery Ed. Discovery Ed should launch you into doing higher and better things. I've seen really good success from people using our Discovery Ed resource. And I think that curriculum map really helps. If you want more help in utilizing this in your classroom, that's where you reach out to me. We'll collaborate on planning, model lesson, anything like that. I've already been in the classrooms doing that this year, so I'd love to help you out in using our resource to drive some really good instruction. Hopefully you're going to start to see some more increased support. As you know, last year was my first year in the role. I was definitely out at school, seeing how I can help, but I was also learning the ropes of where am I most useful at. And now I have like a focused goal and area of where I know that I can move the needle for all of you. So you're definitely going to have better support from me, either on supplies, instruction, feedback, collaborations, data breakdowns, on all that stuff. So that should really help us out as well. The last thing I'd love to talk about is how can we start to move into using leading measures to track our students' progress as they move throughout day to day, week to week. We don't just want to wait for those big tests like the quarter assessments to see how well we've been doing and just kind of cross our fingers that we've improved. We want to have data that's trackable throughout our lessons, so that way we can predict how well they're going to do on that test. And so that way we're seeing growth continually. Quarter assessments are important, but those are just called lag measures. Still important, you need them, but we also want to move into leading measures. If you haven't read that 4 Principles of Execution book the district gave you, it talks about this, gives you tons of great ideas. Highly recommend it. We're also operating out of 2 different levels to meet our goal. At my level, I've got an curriculum. I'm improving that constantly. I'm currently working to add gizmos embedded into the 6th grade curriculum, and I have a training video to help sort out, if any of you have tried it, there's some weird glitches to get your students access. I have a video that covers that, but I'm putting gizmos into the curriculum because they are such a great visual lab for a lot of our topics. I'm looking to get new resources. That's mainly for high school, but there's a few things in the back of my mind I'd love to give to you guys as additional resources to tie everything together. More increased training and support, and big picture data analysis. If I haven't met with your team, let me know, because I do have some really good data breakdowns, not only for science, but for math and English as well, because I know you guys teach that. So let me know. I love data and breaking it down and making it useful. So all of that supports you guys at the school level. School level, that's you guys. You're doing the day-to-day work, coaches, admin, interventionists. We got lots of different team members at those school-based sites. And that's where like the actual teaching and collaboration, the quality instruction, and where I talked about the leading measures, that regular data tracking is happening. What you guys do is you're giving me feedback every time that we meet and have a PD. I take that feedback to make better support. And I hope that process continues. I really value feedback and try to build that into what I'm doing. I kind of mentioned earlier that, we're going to increase every year. We have like a linear goal, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stay linear. As you can see here from this graph, so this represents last school year. I was here, I was helping out, but kind of learning the ropes. We had the MAP test here at the end of the school year. And so that's kind of our baseline data. We have, move my image, we have our 3 tests that we're going to be taking every year. We got a new curriculum map that's supporting better instruction. We're starting this goal that's going to help and carry on throughout the 3 years. Better training, support, collaboration, and accountability. And in high school, this is for the biology, but we're looking to get them a new resource that hits the students where they need to be. So that's exciting for them. And then for you guys, I'm trying to look into what other supports can we build into our curriculum that will also help you out. Sort of like gizmos, but what else can we do? So all that compounds together. It's going to really push our impact as we reach that 3rd year. So that way with this year 3 test, we're going to beat the state. Yearly growth. And this is a spot where I think I missed a spot earlier on for you to talk to your group. So sorry about that. But this is a spot where you can talk with your team if you're meeting with your team. What does it look like at your school? What's your current data? What's your goals going to be? I kind of gave out some suggested ones, but I already know that a lot of your schools have goals already. So I didn't want to add a second goal. So this might be, okay, we're sticking with our same goal. But now with the data Castline's brought in and with this focus of what we're driving towards, now we can double down and really use this for major impact. So take 5 to 7 minutes, pause this video. If you have your team there with you, what is the goal that we're going to focus on with our 6th grade students to increase the mastery of those topics and standards to start that progression towards their 8th grade test? Pause. I'll wait. Since you paused, now you're back. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. Hopefully that was some good conversation. And if you feel like you need somebody else to talk to, call me in and we'll talk about this together. So how's this executed? What you guys just talked about, hopefully, or will, is what your school-based growth plan is. What is it that we're doing at our school with our student population, where they're currently at? What is it that's going to move them the most? I'll give an example. If the students aren't performing very well because their attendance is really bad, well, then attendance should be our goal because that's going to help move the students the most. It could be anything like that. A lot of schools are focused on reading and writing and thinking that that's how we should move the needle. And so maybe reading and writing is the focus. So every school is going to have their own focus goal plan. And I just come in and I help support those. Those can be 1-year goals. It could be all 3, but ideally we focus for a moment on that goal. We reach our goal and now it's like, now what's the next thing we focus on to continue that movement? I talked about leading measures. How are we constantly tracking our students' progress to make sure that they're successful? An example of a lead measure for goal was attendance. Then you have a board that has like an attendance competition where students are getting points for being at school, being at class on time, and that attendance shows them, hey, I am progressing to being here so I can be more successful. And that would be an example of a scoreboard. It keeps everybody accountable. We're not just going to reach this goal by not telling our students what we're doing. Let's tell our students, tell them, hey, 6th grade students, in 3 years, you're taking the 8th grade math test and you are going to beat the state. How are we going to get there? We need to start now prepping you to get to that level. And then lastly, accountability. I'm not keeping this a secret. I'm posting this right outside my office. My bosses will see it, coworkers. You guys can share it out. I want people to know this is what we're striving for. Because what that's going to do is it's going to bring people from outside in and they're going to ask, how can I help? What's the barriers that I could address that you can't? And we're going to increase our team in that way. So this is another spot where you can pause. And with some of the schools, as many as I can meet with, we've actually talked about what is the plan. Some of it was there's already a goal. And so now we're just formalizing it for this. So take 10 minutes, talk with your team. What is the plan that your school is going to focus on? What's the action steps look like? And then what's everybody's role? How do you play in? How does your admin or coaches play in? And then how could I support? Take 10 minutes and then go ahead and come back in. Okay, well, welcome back. I hope that was good conversation. And for those of you that are watching this on your own and you don't have a team, again, please call me in. We can form up a team and get this conversation going with. I try to get to as many schools as I could. And I think there's about 5 to 7 elementary schools I didn't quite make it out to. So I'd love to come out and we can talk this over. Skip past. There we go. And you are not alone. You have a support team. You've got me as your science coordinator. I support you in various ways with the curriculum, the assessments that we have coming up. I can provide coaching. I know not every school has instructional coach. I've had that role before, so I can give you some coaching and feedback and provide you supplies. You have your instructional coaches for a lot of buildings, not all, but they provide observation and feedback, PLC support strategies. I've been meeting with a lot of this elementary structural coaches, and you have awesome instructional coaches. So I'm trying to get them all on our team. Your department chair, I'm not sure how many elementary schools have department chairs, but some do. Who is it that's leading at your school that can be included in that part. And they're helping with your PLCs, helping set the goals, teaching support, and all that stuff. And lastly, administration. They help us provide resource. They have a school-based goal. They also are supposed to be providing observation and feedback, and they can really push the school as well. I don't watch The Simpsons. I know this is a Simpsons character. I don't know if this is a mean representation or good. Don't take anything from it. All right. That's just my disclaimer. All right. Lastly, as you guys have been meeting and talking, or if you've just been watching this, you might have thought of some things that are barriers to the success of your students reaching these goals. And there are things that are outside of your control. And what I wanted to do was not to focus on those, because if it's outside of your control, there's not a lot we can do, but I don't want to discount it. Like, those are serious things. And so if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to a website where you can submit what are the things that are affecting my student success, but they're outside of my control and influence to make an impact on. And what I'm doing is I'm gathering that from everybody, creating a word map that's going to be displayed outside my office next to my goal. So that way people at district office see that, and maybe they'll see something that's in their sphere of control, and then they can help us actually target that to remove those barriers. It also gives me data to take to people that I know, hey, this is in your sphere of influence and your sphere of control. What can we do to fix this? And some of it's probably going to land on me, like, oh, that's something I can fix, so let me handle that. You can submit as many as you want, so take your time on that. But I wanted to give you guys an avenue to voice those, but not just in a venting type of scenario. I actually want to take those and see what can we do to fix some of these things. Some of them are difficult, but what can we do to get rid of as many as we can? All right, your exit tickets for this PD in the email where I'm pushing this video out. I will include the feedback link. I'll also try to include it in, no, I'll probably just keep it in email. I don't want to put it in the YouTube description just because that's public. So it'll be in the email. Please go look at that. I would really appreciate any feedback that you get, that I get. I've used that moving forward. And then your other exit ticket. Tell at least one other person about what your school is doing or what the district is doing. I think I included a flyer either in the description of this video or in the email that you can show people, like, look at what we're doing. And isn't this awesome? Share with at least one other person. I know a lot of you social media people can reach more than one. I just want people to know. And so I'm really excited. All right. I think that brings me to the end of my PD. I wanted to keep this as quick and short as possible. I know you guys' time is valuable. So hopefully I didn't go too long or ramble, but I'm really excited about this stuff. So if I haven't been out to see you recently, email me, call me in. I'd be happy to do whatever support that you guys need. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.